Hi everyone, welcome to my second session of how to do Sashiko. Last week we learned the basics of Sashiko with needles, threads, fabrics, both pre-printed and the manipulation of designs. I hope you all had fun and you had a go at doing that with the wash away fabrics. If you haven't as yet, please have a go. I'm just going to show you, before we start, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how mine turned out last week. You'll remember that this was the original design, and I actually drew out some hexagons in with the ceramic pencil, and I did that in 3 parts, which was half of the runner. I wanted to do half of the runner because I wanted to show you exactly what would happen once we washed away. So after I'd traced them out, I stitched all this. I wanted to keep that as a negative space, and so that I could do something in it. So I'd stitched all around those hexagons, and then I traced designs on with some templates, with the acrylic templates. You could do them with paper templates as well, that would be fine. But you can see that I eventually did a dragonfly in there. I've actually done a Celtic ring, and I've actually stitched that one just to show you how good it can look. And that's the other one I'm going to do. I've actually got some more tracing here, some more stitching here to do on the rest of the runner, exactly as I have on the first half. I'll just duplicate that, and I'll put those 3 designs in those hexagons, and I'll put them in different places. So that just goes to show you. Once it's all finished, I'll put it up on the Facebook page, and you can have a look at it. And I'd like to have a look at yours also when you get yours finished, if you decide to do it. Okay, so today we're going to go through tracing designs onto fabrics. I'm going to show you a little bit about about the tools that we need for that. I'm also going to show you how to design a Sashiko pattern of your own using stencils, and the process that we go through to do that. So it's not hard, it's very easy, but a lot of people get a bit scared about it when I mention the word design. But once you see what is actually done, I hope it encourages you to have a go at it. Alright, so first of all, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the tools that we need for this particular episode. Last week I mentioned about tracing papers and that you needed for your projects. I didn't have them to show, and I do apologise for that. So today what I've done is I've actually bought a cover of the tracing paper so that you can have a look at it. You can write it down. If you don't have a pencil with you, just play the recording again and you'll find it. Okay, so I think this company is in Australia, and you'll get, I'll talk about the transfer paper in a minute, but you'll get 20 sheets of this, and it's the best quality for tracing paper, and I will show you that as we move forward. Okay, on another matter, we have a larger piece of tracing paper. This one works extremely well also. It comes in a lot larger. It's quite a large piece, long piece, and it also works extremely well. Now you get 4 sheets, 4 long sheets, but this is what they are. I'm just going to show you how long they are. They're extremely long and absolutely fabulous for doing large projects, because you pin it there and then you haven't got to move it. Or if you've got to move it along then you only have to move it a couple of times. You don't have to move it multiple times, okay? Now this will take lots and lots of wear. You use it over and over again. So please do not discard it. It's quite expensive. You'll find that both of those are normally around the $50 mark. So be careful with them. Use them over and over again. You'll probably never have to buy the smaller one ever again, because if you have ever been to my workshops where I teach this in-house, you'll see that a lot of the copy paper that I use in classes has been used multiple times. You can see that I've used this quite a few times, and there's plenty of life left in that yet. All right, so I'm going to talk about the chalk paper. Ladies, please be very conscious that when you use it, to put the chalk side down on your surface, on your fabric. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tell you the process that I use. First of all, getting designs. There's lots of places where you can get designs from. There's lots of children's colouring in books. There's lots of books out there that have a lot of line drawings in them. Line drawings are fabulous. My suggestion is not to use the ones that are too complicated. You'll find that less is more in this case. And you'll take a photocopy. There's also Sashiko books. Susan Briscoe's got a great book. It's called The Ultimate Sashiko, and she at the moment has the 20th edition out, so it's got some extra projects in it that might be very useful to you. I've bought one just as a keepsake. And in the back of her books are multiple designs for Sashiko. They're there for you to copy. She also teaches you how to do it in the grid manner, where you can actually draw it onto grids. She also has the directions that you need to, that is best for getting a good outcome on all your designs. So if there's one book that you should get, I think that's the one for you to get. It's excellent as a teaching tool. Okay, so enough about that. When you get something that you really like, girls, you can use the internet as well. You'll find, if you Google Sashiko designs, you'll find an absolute heap come up. And just be careful of the copyright. You'll find that the traditional designs that are the traditional Japanese designs, you'll find that most of those are now out of copyright. They're more than 300 years old, so you're very able to copy those and use them as you wish. But just be mindful of somebody else's designs that aren't that old, because they may be subject to copyright. So just be very careful of that. It's very important. Don't forget you can use florals as well. There's lots of borders. The other thing that you can use, girls, is quilting designs. You know, you can get books that have got quilting designs in them of how to quilt a quilt. I think the professional ladies have those. They're also great for Sashiko as well, and they work extremely well because they've got fantastic lines and flow, so they work really well. So have a go at those as well. Okay, so I've actually downloaded a couple of designs, and I'll just show you those here. I can either enlarge these or reduce them depending on what I want to use. Okay, you'll find that these are great because they just keep flowing. They're fantastic. I love them. There's two of those. Another one, and that's a really nice one. But today I've chosen this one here. Now, when you get a design that you want to use for Sashiko, ladies, always keep the original. You'll find that sometimes you might buy them Sashiko templates online in stencil form, in paper form. Always keep, no matter what you use for designs, always keep the original and use a photocopy, because quite often you will have paid very good money for them, and you want to keep them in pristine condition. So use a copy, a photocopy. You'll probably get about 2 or 3 drawers out of a photocopy, then you'll have to discard it, and then you just photocopy your original again, and you've got a fresh copy to use. Okay, it's also really good to enlarge and reduce your designs, and you can probably use those in conjunction. I've actually got some fish here that, some koi here that I've actually copied, and you'll see that I've actually done them in different sizing. And I could use that in a large piece where I wanted to put multiple sizing throughout the whole project. Now, when you're selecting fabrics for Sashiko, I encourage you to buy the best quality that you can buy. I only use 100% cotton, or sometimes I'll use a cotton and a linen blend, because that sometimes works very, very well. But mostly I use 100% cotton. I don't like the really flimsy ones because they don't transfer as well, and I don't get as good a result. I don't use very loosely woven fabrics as well. They don't transfer the designs with the chalk paper half as good as the nicely woven ones. Well, finer woven ones, not nicely woven, but finer ones. You'll see on this particular fabric, you'll see that it's a really nice grain, and it's quite thick, and it serves my purpose very well. I use this 99% of the time. Comes in a myriad of colours. It has probably about probably almost 100 colours probably, so there's always something there to suit your preference. Okay, so I'm going to have a hard surface. Now, a hard surface, you need something that doesn't have a texture in it. I quite often use my cutting mat here because it hasn't got a surface, a texture in it, and it transfers very well. A kitchen bench is always good. I use kitchen bench when I'm home, and because I do a lot of designing at home, depending when the time of day. And so a really flat surface. You put your fabric right side up on the hard surface. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get your design, and I'm going to put it somewhere where I think I'd like. Now this is just a scrap that I've got, but I might use it and make something out of it. I might make something to go under a vase or something like that, or to put a teapot on, or something like that. But anyhow, so this is quite a small one. I might put 2 of these on here because I think that sort of lends itself to putting 2 on there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to eyeball it, and I always leave enough for a seam when I'm tracing designs, because you will most definitely, I would say, especially with this fabric, you'll put that into a seam, a border, or something like that. Okay, so don't put it too close to the edge because of that. All right, so I'm going to eyeball it, and then I'll probably transfer another one over here. So that's, I think, a pretty good position to put it. So then I take my pin, my 2 straight pins, and I'm going to just pin it at the top. Okay, so my design is positioned on my fabric exactly where I want it. Then I take my chalk paper. Always remember to put your chalk on the fabric. If you do it that way and you trace it, you'll find that you won't have any design come out on your fabric. So just remember for those that remember using carbon paper when we were typing, and we wanted the carbon copy, we had to put the carbon side down. Okay, same principle. Okay, so that's for all the oldies. Okay, so I'm going to put that up there. Make sure that your chalk paper is underneath the top of your design, so that you're not going to miss any. Then I'm just going to place a pin here, on the bottom, just to keep it nice and steady while I transfer my design. Now I'm going to transfer this whole design because I'd like you to see exactly what the outcome is. Okay, so as I said before, I don't use a stylus. A lot of people do. The reason I don't is because I can't see where I've been. Okay, so I use a biro, and when you press heavily, you'll find that you'll only get about 2 or 3 traces before you have to discard this and then reuse a copy. Okay, so I'm going to go over this. This is a good time to work out a pathway that you're going to stitch, because it's always best to have a look at your design and get the most out of your cotton by determining a pathway. It makes it easy to have less stops. Okay, so I think I've done that one, and then we'll just come inside and do the middle one. Okay, so I think I've done all that. So what I'm going to do, you can see that, I don't know whether you can see that where the biro's been, but I know that it's there. Now, always make sure that you check your design that you've transferred before you take your top 2 pins out. By all means, take your bottom pin out, take your chalk paper out, and make sure that you've traced your entire design before you take it off. Now that has transferred, and it's quite a good print, so I'll take this out. Now as you can see, that's going to stay there for a long time. Quite a few years ago, I actually did some Australian Indigenous designs onto fabric. They were very complicated, and it was about 12 months before I got round to doing them. But by the time I had, they were still as good as the day that I transferred them on there. So they hadn't deteriorated in any way. The only thing that might make them fade is when you're stitching, especially in the heat, the oils from your hands may fade the chalk, and then what you do is you just take a ceramic pencil and just freshen up the lines, and then they'll be good to go. Okay. All right, so that's ready to stitch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stitch it, and I'm going to show you how to do your own stitch length. I'm not going to use a knot. I'm going to use the back stitch that or the flat stitch that I taught you last week. And I'm going to show you the benefits of actually using the tip of your needle to gauge your stitch length. Okay, so I'm going to say that's my start point. So I'm going to bring my stitch up, my needle up from the back about there, and I'm going to stitch from there to there. Going to leave a little tail, and I'm just going, remember to fold your fabric onto your needle and to use the tip of your needle to gauge your stitch length. Okay, so I managed to get my 4 stitches in there. You can't see that one, and they look quite good. I'm quite happy. I can see the stitch length there. So I'm going to go to the back. I'm going to put my thumb on the entry point where the thread goes into the fabric, and I'm going to stitch. I'm just going to stretch it just a little bit. Please don't stretch it too much. If you stretch it too much, you'll find that the threads may separate, and that's not a good look. We want it to look like a plump grade of rice. Okay, so turn it over. We'll pull the little tail back. Now I'm just going to go under those stitches, encompassing that little tail. So that's nice and flat there, as you can see. It won't come out, and then we're going to come up at what would be the beginning of our next stitch from the back. Okay, so now we're ready to go. So that was my start point. I've actually come up here, got the tail, whipped the tail in with the stitches, and I'm back now where I brought the needle up from the back. Okay, so this is a really good exercise to do on a scrap, just to get you started and just to get you and to get the feel of it. Going around a corner here, which is a little bit difficult. Okay, so I'm quite happy with those. They're not too bad, they're not perfect, but they're okay. Hold that there with the for the thread to go through. Then just very lightly stretch it. Ladies, don't be too caught up with your stitch length. As long as they're relatively even, you can do long stitches, short stitches. It doesn't really matter. It's about being consistent with your stitch length. You'll find that you don't look at each individual stitch when you look at a piece. You find that you look at it as a whole. If you look at it and you can't live with it, pull it out. But this is handwork. This is not machine work. It's craft. It's something to enjoy, and you don't need it to be perfect. Okay, so now I actually want to go under that there. So I'm going to actually pull these off the needle, and I'm actually going to re-lengthen them just a fraction so that I can get it exactly where I want. Okay, so now I've got an extra stitch in there by just re-lengthening my stitches just a fraction, and I'm actually going to go under there. I can get one stitch in there. I can get another stitch in there. And I'm probably putting too many on here, but never mind, because I'm only using a short needle. Okay, so I'm quite happy with all of those stitches. I'm going to pull them through. Okay, all right. Now you can see that those are quite small, those stitches there, but I'm going to leave them there. They're not too bad. If I was doing something for some special occasion, I would probably take them out, but they're not too bad. And that's the great advantage of having a look at your stitches before you pull it through, because you can actually take them off the needle without fraying the thread too much, because they do fray very easily. Okay, have a look at those stitches, quite happy with those. Push it through with my thumb. Put my thumb on the entry point. I'm just going to stretch it just a little bit, and that's it there. You can use the thimble. Remember we spoke about the thimble in the first lesson. I didn't have it on, so I thought I'd put it on today. You can see where all the indentations are. And I use it mainly for borrow. I don't use it for Sashiko very often. I use it mainly for borrow, but I thought I'd just show you today. Okay, so those two stitches are probably just a fraction long, and they're the ones that I went round the corner. I probably should have finished off there and just did those and put 3 little stitches in there, but you know what, it's okay. It's a demonstration piece. I'm quite happy with it. Okay. And once I do the whole thing, I won't even notice it. All right, so that's transferring designs onto fabric with tracing paper, with a design that you get off out of book or something. And if you're clever enough to be an artist, and you can draw your own designs, all the better, okay? Something unique is always very, very nice to see. Now we're going to go on to creating a design of your own. I'm going to show you one that I did. This was one I did a couple of years ago now, and it was for a specific purpose, and I've since used it in workshops, and I've found some of the ladies, the designs they come up with are just fantastic, and it's all about just feeling that you can be creative. A lot of girls say design, oh no, I couldn't do that, or they're frightened to have a go. Please don't be frightened to have a go. Do you know what? We're going to be doing this on paper, we're going to be doing it with pencil, and if you don't like it, you just rub it out and try something else. You know, you keep going until you find something that really does work for you. I have to say that I probably rubbed this out a few times and tried different things, and in the end I still changed it when I finished it, because I didn't leave the circles in. I took the circles out, which I just wasn't quite happy, and I put other things in here. So it's just a base for you, and you can build on it as you're doing it anyhow. So okay, all right. So you can see that I've used acrylic templates to design this, and I'm going to show you some of the processes that I used, and we'll have a go at doing a small piece, and I'll just show you a little bit of how I do it. Okay. And girls, this is the finished product from that particular design. This is the first design that I did, or it's the outcome of that first design. Okay, so you can see that I've actually taken all the circles out of it, and I've used a bit of fabric in there. I've used some buttons that I bought when I was on a trip once. So as you can see, I took all the circles out, and then I've put other things in there. Like that was a last minute thought, that particular one. I then decided that I would use fabric to put in those little daisies that I drew. I used an antique fabric there to cover a button, and we used a couple of colours which I really liked. This was another technique where I did some applique inside just one of those, just to link up a bit of colour. You can see that I've left a bit of negative space. I don't like it all over. Leaving a bit of space sometimes makes your design pop. Okay, so also I used some, when I was on a trip once overseas, I actually bought some beautiful Japanese buttons, and I've actually put them on here as well. So that's a memory for me. Okay, so you can see how I've actually melded all the designs into one another, and they work very well. You can put as much or as little as you like. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of other designs that I've done using that method. So these are some very simple contemporary designs, which is probably my favourite. I'm a real lover of contemporary artwork, and I use these templates. And as you can see, I've used quite a few. I've only got a few of them here today, but I just wanted to show you exactly how I've done it. I've actually just put the templates there, and I drew with a ceramic pencil straight onto the fabric. I might just do one just to show you. Oh no, there's another one that I'll show you. And I've put them in, because it's all different sizes, I've actually put one inside there, one inside the other, and I've just drawn them. So that's one. I'm going to put these into a runner a little later on. Okay, so here's one that's got less work on it, and I've drawn some extra lines in there, so I might do a few more, and I'll just show you. I might do a few more, whoops, And that is what you do not do, girls. You don't, you must use your ceramic pencil straight up and down, okay? Because that's what happens, it actually breaks. Okay, so. Okay, so you'll find that using these directly onto fabric, and of course if you want to use a light fabric, then you can use the coloured leads in these pencils. They come in green and pink and charcoal and that sort of thing. So you can use it on light and dark fabrics, okay, with these pencils. Then you'll find that that will stay there very well. I might take these out, or I might do a few more lines in there. Here's another one where I haven't done very much in there. I've just put circle upon circle, and I've interlocked them, which I think makes a really nice design. Here I've actually used hexagons, and I was always very happy with that. I did a larger design many years ago and I really liked it, so I decided to do one of those. So using these templates is very, very easy for you to trace designs on the fabrics. You can also use the squares. They look fantastic. You can overlap them in a myriad of ways, and you'll find that they can also look really, really attractive. Okay, so you'll draw that one, and then you'll draw that one, and then you'll draw that one, and then you might draw this one here. Just play with it. Just play the placement and play with them. Okay. So it's all about, and you're the only one that's seeing it. So don't worry. I know you can do it if you just have a go at it. All right. I'm going to show you how to trace designs onto a paper. Now, the one that I showed you, the long one I showed you before, I always, because I'm using multiple templates, I always do it on paper. And the reason I do it on paper is because I can rub it out. I'm just going to use a pencil, a sharp pencil, and my templates, and I can rub it out, which is fantastic. I like that. This is another ruler that I like. I find that this is quite a good one for segregating different parts of the design if you want to do that. And you could do that quite easily. You could use these as well, and I have used those. I'll use the circles today, but that's also really good. It's got two different wave designs, and it's very, very helpful. Okay, so I've got no preconceived ideas. I haven't thought about this. This is just off the cuff, which is okay for me. I don't mind that. And we'll see what we can come up with. I'm not going to do the whole design, girls, because we'll run out of time, but I'm just going to give you a fair idea of how to do it and how easy it can become. Okay, so what we might do is we might use a couple of circles, and as I said, I quite often rub these out, and I just use this as a foundation to actually have something to work on and build up. Okay. All right, so I've got a couple of designs here. Okay, so let's start with that. All right, so I'm actually going to, this is a sharp pencil, and that's all we need. Not a great deal of thought's gone into this, girls. It's all about just starting, you know, have a go. If I was designing for something that had a specific size, what I would do is I would actually measure out my piece that I'm going to be using or designing on, and make sure that it's exactly within the borders of the measurements. So, okay, so Sorry ladies, I'm just getting all my templates here. I love to spread myself out. Okay, so we've got a lot of designs here. These are an acrylic template. There's a lot of traditional designs here, and I use a very sharp pencil to trace these onto the designs. You can use it with a sharp pencil. You can also use it with the bohin or the Soline ceramic pencils onto fabric, directly onto fabric. So there's a lot of other thinner templates that also work very well, and I think that they will accommodate a lot of different other transfer pens rather than just these two. Okay, so just make sure that when you're buying your templates that you know how thick it is and what pencils to use with it. Okay, so I'm actually going to have a go at putting some designs in here, and then we'll just use that as a base and we'll work out. Okay, so I've actually got I've got that particular design. I've got that one. These are round ones that I'm going to put together in the same space and see what we can come up with. Okay, so sharp pencil, girls, always. I just go backwards and forwards because I find that that then gives me a very good transfer. You don't have to use the whole of the template. You can use as much or as little as you like. You can use the whole template. You can do what I'm just doing, and I'm just going to pick out some of the design on this, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to make them. Okay, so as you can see, I've missed some of that there, but the beauty of these is that you can actually put them back. Remember we talked about transferring with paper and chalk paper? You can't do that with this, but with these you can actually see where you've done your design. Sometimes what I'll do with these is I'll actually put a little corner on opposite corner just so that I know that I can fit my design back in there exactly. Okay, it's just an added short stop. Okay, so you can see that I've actually put that one in there. What I might do, I might put. Okay, so you can see how that's just gone straight back in there, and it fits perfectly. Okay, so we might do this one here as well. You'll be surprised, the more that you do it, the more creative that you can become. Especially when you've got a basis with templates and that sort of thing. They can give you inspiration that will give you something to work on. Okay, let's see if that's worked. There we go. So we've got two of those here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use some of this one here. Let's have a look and see. This is a bitumen here. There you go. I've just found that goes with that, that goes with that. Okay, so let's. A lot of these interact with each other, these designs, which is fantastic because it gives you so many options. And once I take it off, I'll have a look and see if it needs to have any more done to it. You do get a very sore hand doing this, I have to say, because I'm trying to put pressure on my left hand to keep it nice and still. Let's see. Okay. All right. So that worked out quite well. I've missed one there, but I can just put that in there. I think I may have missed one there as well. Let me have a look and see. No, I haven't. No, that's right. Okay, so that doesn't need one there. Although you think it would, but it doesn't. No. Okay. All right. So I could extend that one out here a little bit more. Got to get it the right way. Okay. So we might just come up here and do a bit more here. And I'll just break my pencil. Okay, so we might just leave that there. And then we could, if we wanted to, we could actually put that one there. We could actually turn it around there, and I could put some of these upside down along here. Let me have a look and see what we've got there. There we go. Okay, so these work in quite well. So we could actually do some more of this. Now this is just done very, very quickly, girls. So I'm sure that if I was to go back and do it again, it would I would probably do a bit more of each one to spread it out. But I just want to give you the idea of how they can interact with one another. There you go. So you can see how they're all just interacting with one another. You know, I'd probably come back and do some more here as well. But anyhow, that just shows you that. The other thing we can do also is, ladies, is that because I'd probably fill all this in with some other geometrics, I might use that as well. Another one that I really love is I love this one as well, and we could do some. We could still do some of this around in here, probably all the way around there. We could do that, fill that in with just this one, and that would look really nice. I'm just going to go off the page there. No, I do need to do that. Okay. Okay, so you can see where I've actually okay, so you can see by using the circles, I can segment some of this as well, and I could probably use one of these whole pieces to put in there. And once I took the circles out, the divisions out, I could put something in there, something else down here, and take the circles out. You'll find that it would create something really, really nice. There's another one here that you can sort of push along. That's a really nice one, and that just curves up. So that's a lovely one to use as well. And you'll find that you'll be able to connect that all the way up. And you'll see it's not very complicated, and in that large area, it would probably look very nice. Okay. All right, so here's one of the templates that is used for designing. you'll find that it's extremely helpful in starting off a design and that you can continue and expand on. It's got straight lines here for using for Sashiko. It's got the widths that you might like to, if you're very precise. It's got interlocking squares here, which can look fantastic. They look, just leave those out. You can do a scallop here. These are, this particular one here, you can make squares as big or as small as you like, so depending on what you feel like at the time. A nice big squiggly lines, circles, and this is nice around borders and that sort of thing, and it's good to, and you can interlock these as well. So this is a really good template to use for starting off some of your designs as well. All right, so what one of these, I might just try this one on here and see if we can see what we can make with this one, just as a especially if you because they've been designed to match up perfectly, no matter what. Great design guy, this fellow, and or engineer, whatever he was, and he did a perfect job on making sure that we could interlock these particular designs. Okay, so I can actually, let me have a look and see what we can find here. Okay. All right, so let's have a go at this and see what we've got here. It's all about playing with your designs, girls. Have a go. Try something different. Wow, that almost comes in, and I could probably just turn that around there, and there you go. So that one's going to go all the way around there. Okay, so we can just continue on with that. Let's have a go, see what we can do. Okay, that's working quite well. And although that's going out over there, I'm going to take that circle out, so. Now girls, if you want to know where to get some of these particular templates from, just send me an email to sue@sashikoaustralia.com.au, and we'll get back to you. Okay, so you can see that by connecting those particular, you can see how that's sort of connecting there. So if I went around and did another maybe two or three of these, then they would just connect up and make a really nice design. And once you take out the circle, it looks really fantastic. Okay, so I might just show you what you could do with this one as well. And this one lends itself to just doing a little bit all over. So I'd start with somewhere like that that doesn't go into the circle, and then I would just shift it around so that it just connects up. So that one can look really nice. That one would look fantastic if we did it, if we just did it down in here. That would look really good. Okay. All right, so that just goes to show you how you can use templates, designing onto paper. And then what you would do is, once you were very happy with your design and you wanted to trace this onto your fabric, what you would do was you could either completely copy it onto fabric directly with using the templates that you've used and using the ceramic pencils, or you could trace it on with a biro and the chalk paper onto your fabric. So once you were very happy with this, then you can use this as a template. And I think that's what I did with mine. I think I might have just traced it on with chalk paper and a biro. Okay, so you've got two methods of being able to trace it onto fabric, okay? Keep these, girls. They might bring you some inspiration down the track. You might go back and think, oh, I forgot about that. And I keep all my designs so that I can go back and have a look at them, and maybe they might, jog something. I think, oh, I could try that again. So, and sometimes you work on it and it just works out a bit better. I think that's about it for me today. I hope you've really learnt something. If you'd like any questions answered, please email me at sue@sashikoaustralia.com.au and I'll get back to you. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you some other time. Bye for now.